So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with what we call the beat, which is broken into 3 parts. First, we've got our kick drum, then we've got our snare, and then we've got what you call your hi-hats. And doof, doof. Okay, we're going to go and build those, and I'm going to explain to you exactly in a 4x4x4x4 structure. 4 beats by each bar. Okay, great. So we're going to start developing a beat, and we're going to start with our kick drum. So in speaking about 4x4, don't worry too much about that. We can simply count. So with your BPM track or your click track or your guide piece, it's highly important because this is essentially going to be your counter. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on and so on. As you can see, I've added markers at the bottom here. You can do this by simply just clicking M, and that's just to count your bars. 4 beats means a bar, basically. A simple rock beat consists of having your doof sound, which is your kick drum, in the first beat of every bar. So we're just going to go along and do that. So there we've got our doof, doof, doof. Apple C for copy, we're going to go over to full edit. We're going to select A1, V1, and when we drop it in, boom, it'll drop like that. Now you see the waveforms. Make sure that this waveform here connects with that waveform at the bottom. So we're going to cut this clip a little bit shorter there. We're going to go here. See the waveform's still a little bit too far ahead. So what we're going to have to do is move to here. So we've got a doof, 2, 3, 4, doof over here again. And now we're going to go in and add our snare. Our snare will always happen on the 3rd beat. So it will go doof, doof, ka, doof. 1, 2, dish. 1, 2, dish. We're going to go over to our beat. There we go. We got our snare right there. Go to our full edit. Waveforms to link up. Now what we're going to do is just to add to this is we're going to add in what you call your hats. And what makes a great sound for this is the bacon. Hats go on every single beat of every bar. Head over to your beat. We're going to have, what do we have here? There we go. Bacon sizzle, Apple C, full edit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select our layers above V2. We're going to look here and select V3. And select that. That's just so that when we paste it in, it doesn't land right on top of our clip in that layer. There we go. So make sure it's the exact size here, so then you can just simply copy and paste and everything will sync. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go through that. It looks pretty boring. It's starting to sound cool, you know. We've got something constant. You know, so something that can get that head nod going. We'll look at the visuals next. Right now it looks a bit messy. It's all over the place. Just make sure that you have every clip in every layer that you need, and then we can kind of go through and stagger it and utilize the more aesthetic ones and make sure that we're not being repetitive, and maybe pull in clips from other parts that just work there. Like I said earlier, make sure you record yourself creating the sound in all different areas in front of the camera, some from far, some from close. This will take away from it looking repetitive. Over here, this is after 4 bars. Now we're going to want to start developing our melody. Our melody will then come in, and then after that we're going to introduce our bass line. And together we would create, we're sitting at 20 seconds right now, but what I'll do in the ending is then a quick breakdown of a more impactful kind of a track. So I'm going to create, say, 30 seconds of this more plain and simple version, and then I'm going to go in and showcase just a really advanced piece of music right at the end. Let's go over to melody. Let's have a look. We'll copy that. We'll go over to the full edit. It's very important to start at the beginning of a new bar. So once again, we'll now select V3 and V4. This will just layer it nicely. Boom. So we'll do this on 4 bars. The second bar, boom, third bar. So we'll just copy and paste those 2 bars right there. We'll go down, we'll select these 2 bars, just the audio files. So that was quite nice, actually, that unplanned, but I slowly removed the beat from that. And now what we'll do is we'll introduce everything along with our bass line. So if we go over to our bass line folder now, over here, and we have a look and see. Okay, so that lasts for 2 bars already, which makes our life a little bit easier. We're gonna go to full edit. We're going to come in right here, and it should just all sync up for us. Once again, we're now going to select a 5v4. So we're sitting on different layers, and boom, let's see if it fits in. So what we'll do is we'll just repeat it again. So we can kind of do whatever we want to here. I think maybe we should introduce some hats first. So let's make sure we select the right draw. And then over here, we can start bringing our kick and snare at full force. Just make sure that everything lands on the beat as follows. Now if you remove your click track and you kind of listen to what you have, now we're gonna go, and I'm just gonna quickly show you how to add variety and more sounds in here, but you don't have to go this extra length. Right now it's just about focusing on getting the timing right, just for a simple rock beat, and then we're gonna start adding in extra elements and extra video footage. But for now, let me just quickly show you where you can take this to.
Juice. Good morning.
Now we can bring it all down to a similar layer, just to tighten up and neaten up our edit a bit. And then it's about looking for the black gaps in your edit to just, you want to fill in with different kinds of sounds. So if we want to look for different kind of frying sounds, we're going to go over to our full clip. And we're going to look at anything where we've got the stove or just something that's going to give us that idea of frying. Here we go. So we're going to take that. Copy. Just remember, with videos like this, you need to deselect from the audio, which is called unlinking. You right click, you go down here to unlink, boom, you scroll down to the audio, click on it and delete. There we go. So let's have a look here. Let's use this to fill in the black gaps right there by the frying. And once you're happy with your clip and it sits down here, just before you export, we're going to select what we call a thumbnail. This is what will essentially draw people to come and watch your video on your Instagram wall. Now, the way the thumbnails work with videos is the very first frame is what becomes your thumbnail. So what I do is just scrub through the clip until I find something that looks kind of engaging, something maybe funny, something that I would click on. I go and I select a screenshot of that, which I'm going to show you how to do now, and put it in and just make it a frame worth. It's very important, or else when you upload it to Instagram, it's just going to select its own visual and it may not suit your feed. So what you do is you find the clip that you like. I kind of like this clip of me throwing an egg. It looks really interesting where it's like sort of splattering off like that. So I'm going to select this little camera button, export frame, boom. I'm going to save it in my file as thumbnail, export as a JPEG, boom, done. Now we're going to pull this directly in. It only needs to be a frame's worth. There we go, we've got our frame. Now what we're going to do is we're going to export file, export media, select. Great. We're going to name this Seeing Sounds Skillshare. Great, we're going to put it into our root folder. We're going to select save. That's great. Here it's already matched your sequence settings for you, so that's all good. And export. Boom. This is my favorite part, to take a deep breath. And you have completed your project. Amazing. Well done.